Morning, folks. It's been a long holiday. Now it's time for the second term, so be ready. And now we're going to discuss the first unit for the OL, and it's called How Was Your Weekend? From the title, we can see that we are going to talk about the activities we do every weekend, and also the usage of the past simple tense. But before we start anything, like all the time, we need to do just a quick revision. Rewrite the following sentences. Number 1, he doesn't eat banana. Use never. So you will take your 3 seconds. Yes, the answer is he never eats banana. Number 2, we never go to the countryside. Use don't. So, yes, we don't go to the countryside. Number 3, he plays football in the weekends. Use we. Here we won't use we instead of he. So we are going to say we play football in the weekends. Again, we play football in the weekends. Now it's time to discuss some vocabulary. The first word, and it's called aquarium. Yes, aquarium. And it is an indoor center where you can look at sea animals and fish living in water. As you can see, the second biggest aquarium in the world is in Brazil, especially exactly in Rio de Janeiro. Number 2, bowling alley. Yes, bowling alley. It's a place where you can go bowling. So, to tell you an example, I should say, we went to the bowling alley to go bowling. The next word, and it's called canteen. Yes, canteen. And it is a dining room in an office building or a school. As always, when we were young, we went to the canteen to get many things to eat. The next word, and it's called fun fair. Yes, it's a huge park with fun rides and games. When I was young, I really liked going to the fun fair. The next word, and it's called museum. It's a building to keep and display important things from the past. Like we have here the Egyptian Museum in Egypt. The next word, and it's called planetarium. It's an indoor center where you can learn about stars and planets. So, we went to the planetarium to learn about the stars. The next word is called sports center. It's a place where you can do sports indoors. It's indoors, not outdoors. So, in our university, there is a big sports center. The next word, and it's called stadium. It's a place where you can play or watch sports matches. It's like when I tell you there is a match between Al Ahly and Zamalek next Friday, so I am going to watch it in the stadium. Now let's move on. We have to read this and then get out the new words. Sunday, 8th May. Yesterday, our family moved our new house in Alexandria. Again, yesterday our family moved to our new house in Alexandria. It took 3 hours to drive from our old house in Cairo. Monday, 9th May. This morning, Mom and I went shopping to buy a new school uniform for me. I hope students are friendly in my new school. Tuesday, 10th May. Today I went to my new school. I was quite nervous, but I sat next to a boy called Sammy. and he was friendly. We had lunch together in the school canteen. Now let's get out all the important things in this passage. From the very beginning, yesterday our family moved to. Please note that I have a prepositional verb here. It's move to. And it means to move from a place to another place. To live, yes. It took 3 hours to drive from our old house in Cairo. Here I also have an expression. It took 3 hours too. It took time too. Let's go to Monday. This morning, Mom and I went shopping. As we know, if I have a verb, an ing, or an activity, sometimes I use go, and went is the second form of go. Now let's go to Tuesday. Here in the second sentence, I was quite nervous. I have 3 parts of quite. I have quite, and quit. This quite is called just by a degree. I was nervous but not so much. I have a quite with E inside of it, and it means calm. But quit without any E's, it means to leave a place. Now let's move to read another passage. Monday, 16th May. What a fantastic weekend. I went to Sam's house on Saturday and we played football in the park. I don't usually like football, but all his brothers wanted to play. It was a lot of fun, and on Sunday, Mom helped me with my homework. Then Dad and I went to the sports center. It's great. There is a really big swimming pool. To get out all the important things from this passage, we should say that this whole passage is not only in the past simple. As you can see, we played football. This is the past simple. I went to Sam's house. This is the past simple. But when I tell you I don't usually like football, it's a state, it's a fact, so I used the present simple tense. So now let's go and talk about the past simple. What is the past simple? The past simple tense, it is the second form of the verb. As you know, we have 2 forms of the second form. If I have a regular verb and if I have an irregular verb. With the regular verbs, I just use the ed or ied like play, played, dance, danced, study, studied. But the irregular verbs are just, we keep it like this. When I tell you, see, the second form is so the past simple is so. And here I use the past simple to refer to an action that happened and finished in the past. And this is the most important thing about the past simple. I use it to refer to an action that happened and finished in the past. And yes, it finished in the past. I have some keywords for the past simple, and it is yesterday, in the past, last, once, ago, in plus past period. Like in the examples, Maha helped her mother with her work last night. She went to school 2 hours ago. Last and ago. Mariam was frightened of the cave. Here the past simple is in the verb to be, was. Yes. Verb to be in the past simple is was or were. So Mariam is a singular noun and it takes was. So Mariam was frightened of the cave. And here is the second form of the verb to be. There were many cars in the street. So cars is a plural noun, so it takes were. And I also have the negative form, and I will talk about this later on. So we didn't go to school last Saturday. So how to get the negative form of the past simple? How to get the negative form of the past simple is so easy. I just get the subject, then didn't, then the base form of the verb. Like I didn't play. Any subject goes with didn't. Okay? She didn't play basketball. We didn't play basketball. It is the same. We just use the subject followed by didn't followed by the base form of the verb. Now how to make a question using the past simple tense. We often ask two types of questions. We have yes or no questions that start with an auxiliary verb like do, can, or have, or the verb to be. The voice usually rises at the end of the question. Remember to answer with the same verb and the same tense, okay? So when I tell you, did you go to the park? You will say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't, because I used did, and it is the past simple. So when I tell you, have you got a phone? So I am going to answer saying, yes, I have, no, I haven't. For a verb to be like, are you happy? So I can say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not happy. How to ask using WH questions. So we are going to start with the words how, what, when, where, which, who, whose, and why. They are called the questions word or the questions words. So the voice usually falls at the end of the question because I actually focus on the beginning of the question. What music does he like? So I'm going to say he likes both. To make a question in the past simple, I'm going to say, when did you go to the museum? He's going to say, I went to the museum 4 days ago. I have a go. It's our keyword of the past simple, so the question must be in the past simple. Now let's answer some exercises. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Number 1, I want to watch the match between Egypt and South Africa. So I will go to the... Yes, you will take your 3 seconds. Yes, I want to watch the match between Egypt and South Africa, so I will go to the stadium. Number 2, Salma is going to the... She loves riding on the big wheel. So, Salma is going to the fun fair. She loves riding on the big wheel. Number 3, Toka was very about her exams, so she couldn't sleep. So, Toka was very nervous about her exams, so she couldn't sleep. Number 4, the Egyptian is full of ancient statues and coins. So, yes, the Egyptian museum is full of ancient statues and coins. Number 5, the bowling is a building where you can go bowling. So the bowling alley is a building where you can go bowling. Read and correct the underlined words. I have lunch with my friends yesterday. Here yesterday it's a keyword of the past simple. So I should say I had lunch with my friends yesterday. Number 2, this morning Mom and I go shopping. This room, something happened in the past, so I should say this morning Mom and I went shopping. Number 3, I had a math lesson 2 days last. So what are the keywords which comes at the end of the sentence in the past simple? I had a math lesson 2 days ago. Did you L yesterday? This must be verb to be in the past, so I should say, were you ill yesterday? Now it's time for lesson 3 in the first unit of the OL. So we will just have a quick revision. Choose the correct answer. Number 1, Rukaya worked hard. Rukaya worked very hard and very well in the exam. So this whole sentence must be in the past simple tense, and we should answer saying yes. Rukaya worked very hard, and did very well in the exam. On Sunday, 8th May, our family to our new house in Alexandria. So I should use yes. On Sunday, 8th of May, our family moved to our new house in Alexandria. Number 3, it's Wednesday today, so it was Tuesday. Must be yes, yesterday. So it's Wednesday today, so it was Tuesday yesterday. Number 4, how did you when you started a new school? To make a question, we should use the question word how, the auxiliary did, the subject, and the base form of the verb, and it is feel. The next one, number 5, my uncle his car in 2002. So in past period, it must be the past simple tense. My uncle bought his car in 2002. Number 6, you enjoyed the game last week. Yes, I did. So I must make a question with the auxiliary, and it must be, did you enjoy the game last week? Yes, I did. Now we are going to just read together a story written by Daniel Defoe, and it's called Robinson Crusoe. This is just a summary about this. Robinson Crusoe is an adventure story by Daniel Defoe. Robinson Crusoe was a sailor, and one day his ship sank because there was a really terrible storm. Crozo swam to the nearby island, but there were no other people there. Crozo wrote a diary of what happened to him on the island. On 18th December, I arrived on the island 4 days ago. Today I walked along the beach again, but I saw nobody and I think I'm alone. This afternoon I found a dead fish and I ate it, but it was not nice. Although I am hungry, I don't want to eat another dead fish. 19th December. I found a coconut on the beach today. It was delicious. It rained last night and I was cold and wet. So today I want to look for a cave. I want a warm place to sleep. I walked through a jungle and there were some rocks, but no caves. 20th of December, I found a cave. So again, we are going to read it for the second time, I'm sorry. Robinson Crusoe is an adventure story by Daniel Defoe. Robinson Crusoe was a sailor, and one day his ship sank because there was a really terrible storm. Crusoe swam to a nearby island, but there were no other people there. Crozo wrote a diary of what happened to him on the island. 18th of December, I arrived on the island 4 days ago. Today I walked along the beach again, but I saw nobody and I think I am alone. This afternoon, I found a dead fish and ate it, but it was not nice. Although I am hungry, I don't want to eat another dead fish. 19th December, I found a coconut on the beach today. It was delicious. It rained last night and I was cold and wet. So today I want to look for a cave. I want a warm place to sleep. I walked through a jungle and there were some rocks but no caves. 20th of December, I found a cave. Now let's go to the most important words in this passage. Number 1, alone. And that means not with other people. I can say, I stayed all alone yesterday in my room. Classical music, it's a type of serious music played by people like Mozart. So classical, it's so old. I can say, I love classical music, especially made by Mozart. Coconut, it's a large brown nut, and I really love this. Jazz, it's a type of music first played by Black Americans. It's not like opera. In the opera, it's a type of music where actors sing the words of a story. I'm singing a story, but the words of the story, it's like a song. The pop music, it's like the usual music we listen to. It's a type of popular music. But the difference between the pop music and the rock music, that the rock music, it's all the time or usually played by electric guitars. Like rock and roll. Sailor, it's someone who works on a boat or a ship. And sink means to go down into water. So, like when I tell you, Crozo was a sailor on his ship when it sank. And terrible means very, very bad. There was a terrible storm yesterday. Traditional, it means using ideas or ways that people first used a long time ago. Here I have some important phrasal verbs like remember to, and interview with, or share with, or go down to. It's to go from a higher place to another lower one. And I have on the island, and at the weekend. Now it's time to answer some exercises. It's not so big deal, but it's okay. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. The land is surrounded by water from all sides is called, yes, it's island. The land that is surrounded by water from all sides is called island. Number 2, A is a hole in the mountain. Yes, a cave is a hole in the mountain. Number 3, my uncle works as RN on a big ship. So, my uncle works as RN sailor on a big ship. Number 4 is a kind of music. Jazz, gas, metal, plastic. It's clear. Jazz is a kind of music. Jazz. There was a really terrible storm and the ship sank. Thank you for watching us, and I hope that I answered all the questions you have.